Y'all, I don't know how this started, but let's talk. Let's talk about the embroidery, because I still have no idea how I feel about it. Like, do I love it? Do I hate it? I have no idea. Let's talk it out. Okay, here's my motivation behind trying to do something so different from what I usually do. So sometime last year, I heard that doing something creative can really help you level up your skills, so to say, if you especially do a lot of analytical stuff, which is all I do. So I became a little bit curious about doing something creative and seeing if my mouth doesn't work as fast as my brain does. Okay, let's just go with that. Anywho, where was I? So I was curious about if doing something creative could help me kind of unlock a different type of thinking and help me level up in my life. But more importantly, I also heard that if you do a lot of analytical work, or even if you don't, creative endeavors and activities can help you, de-stress, and it can be very therapeutic, which is something I need in my life. And even though I would not like to admit this, I do feel very stressed at times. So something that is therapeutic, a little bit out of my typical type of activities, I was curious about if it would be therapeutic and de-stressing and relaxing, like, this source that I was watching or listening to, whatever it was, I don't remember, claimed it to be. So I was very intrigued, and I was very like, okay, at the back of my head I was like, I want to try doing something creative sometime. Now, third, I'm not very dexterous with my hands, and if you know me, you know that makes me kind of angry because I like being good at stuff. So I took it upon me to do something with my hands to kind of stimulate a type of activity and start to get better at doing things with my hands, with my physical hands, okay? So that was my main motivation behind even trying to do something that it just is so different from what I usually do. I do not do traditionally creative activities like sketching and painting and embroidering, crocheting, all that jazz. I have never been there. I have never done that, okay? That is why I wanted to do this. Now, because of these reasons, I embarked on the most frustrating and tiring, and not to mention irritating journey of learning how to embroider. Embroider, is that a word? Of learning how to do embroidery. Okay, let's put it that way. Here's how it went down. So my second eldest sister, she was over, and she's the one who actually got these embroidery kits for us. So she was like, hey Ruha, let's do the embroidery kits, let's de-stress, let's do something therapeutic, let's relax. And she roped me in, okay? She roped me in because at the back of my head I was like, oh wait, Ruha, you wanted to do something creative, you wanted to try this out, let's just sit down, it's winter break, let's try it out. That was my mistake. Okay? Because oh my god, the amount of times I said I'm done, I'm out, like I give up, is, I don't even remember how many times I said that. As soon as we opened this kit, it was so daunting. Like, look at this pattern. Look at this pattern they wanted beginners like me and my sister to create. Just look at this pattern. It has a gazillion different colors to use, aka these. And we saw this and we went like, oh my god, how on earth are we even going to accomplish this? So clearly, the first time we opened this kit, it was very overwhelming, at least for me. I looked at this and I went, I'm out. This is not my idea of relaxing or, de-stressing. This is stressing me out even more. I literally said that to my sister. This is stressing me out even more. This is supposed to be relaxing. What is this? Okay, but if you know me, you know that I'm also very hard-headed, if you will. Once I commit, I commit. So we decided to watch a video on cross-stitching, which was extremely helpful. I do not remember what video this was, but kudos to this man who, you know, gave a piece of rope to my sister and I, you know, a lifeboat to my sister and I, because we almost called it quits, okay? But this man saved our lives, okay? He literally saved our lives. Even after that though, we looked at this design, which may look pretty looking at it, but it is absolutely horrific to even try to do this as a beginner. So we looked at this design and we thought, okay, this is impossible. But then my sister came up with the brilliant idea of checking this out the window and doing her own design. So at that point I was like, okay, this is doable. I learned how to cross stitch. I can do my own simple design that doesn't require 1,000 pieces of different colored threads and this very complicated design. So we're good. We're good, right? No. Life is never easy. Life is never easy, because then came the needle. This needle, I don't know if you can see this. This needle was the death of me. The death of me, okay? It is so incredibly difficult to put thread in a needle. And I don't know if it's because I'm not dexterous, or I don't know if it's me or the needle, but I was so frustrated trying to put this thin thread, or actually let me rephrase that, this relatively thick thread in this small little hole and, you know, get it ready to start embroidering. This is where I struggled the absolute most. It was, I don't know how to describe it. You don't understand. I was so ridiculously irritated by this. The amount of times I was sitting there going with my sister, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not doing this anymore, this is too difficult. Because I kid you not, this is probably more difficult than me sitting in a Calc 3 exam. I kid you not. Like, I kid you not. This was so difficult for me for some reason. And of course you want to factor in the, you know, the idea that this is my first time doing it. There's a lot of discomfort there. I've never really done stuff like this, so this is quite far out of my comfort zone. So of course I was feeling that barrier to entry and that kind of resistance, because it actually relates back to human biology, I believe. I learned about this idea a really long time ago, where you feel this resistance because your body is about preserving energy or feeling comfortable, and so when you try to do something outside of your comfort zone, you feel like you're in danger, and so your body tries to protect yourself, or your mind tries to protect you. Anyways, that's a trip down psychology lane. Anyways, I was definitely feeling that discomfort because, like I said, I told my sister at least 10 times sitting there trying to put this thread in this needle that I'm done, I give up. But bless my sister, she kept saying, "Rura, just keep going, just keep trying, give it one more try, just keep trying," and bless her. Because I finally got this God-forsaken thread in this needle. And I don't think I felt that accomplished in a very long time. Okay, in a very long time. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned that I didn't know how I felt about this, because up to that point, I thought, I hate this. I'm never doing this ever again. But this is when things took a 180. Let's put it that way. Now, what I mean by that, as soon as I got the thread and needle situation sorted out, actually stitching, it was weirdly addicting. I couldn't stop. I sat on the couch for a very long time, just going at it and just threading and cross-stitching and just on autopilot. My hand was just moving and I couldn't seem to stop myself. I would take a break because my hand was hurting. I had just done a wrist procedure for my wrist injury, if you've been following me for a while. I'll talk about that way down the line when my wrist is actually healed. My point is, I just couldn't seem to stop. It was surprising surprisingly addicting once you got started. Now, because my hand, like I mentioned, was hurting a lot, I had to break up my design, if you will, into different days. I didn't just sit down in one session and just go hard and, you know, get the de-stressing and do the therapy and all of that. No, I broke it down into different days. I needed to rest, and actually I started doing it with my left hand because that's a good way for me to kind of incorporate my left hand into different types of movements, since my right hand was what was hurting. So this is how it turned out. This is what I decided to do. I literally just decided to make 3 cubes. First, I wanted to also make them like dice, so have numbers inside the cubes. But like I mentioned, my hand was hurting, so I had, you know, I didn't want to exert myself too much and risk injuring my wrist in a different way. Even when I was using my left hand, like there's only so much that I want to, you know, involve my left hand. So I decided to just go with the 3 cubes, and in my opinion, I'm very happy with this, okay? I cannot believe Ruha, did this, okay? I am very proud of myself. I have never done something creative, and so to see this beautiful stitch, because my dad said it was a beautiful stitch, and my mom, who does a lot of stitching and creative type of stuff, she said it was a beautiful stitch. So imaginary hair flip. Okay, anywho, I'm very proud of how this turned out, okay? I'm very proud. So clearly I have mixed feelings about this endeavor, about this challenge, if you will, about this thing I was trying out. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It was disgustingly difficult to start, but once I did start and get over that barrier to entry where I was like thinking like, oh my god, how do I even start? Bless my sister for helping me with that. It was fun, it was therapeutic, and I'm so proud of myself for doing this. So the verdict is, I am glad I tried this out, and once I got started, it was relaxing, it was therapeutic, because it was so addicting. However, because it requires so much work versus, I don't know, picking up a pencil and a paper and drawing something out, which I might try out next time, I don't know if I would do this again, put myself through this again, but I'm glad I tried it out, and I did enjoy it. I did eventually come to enjoy it. So take it with what you will. Regardless of if I ended up loving it or not, I am glad that I learned a new skill, something completely different than what I'm usually learning. Like, it's not anything like what I usually learn. It's completely different. So I'm happy I picked up a different skill set, although at a beginner level, but it's a skill set. So I'm happy I did this. Alright, so that is my embroidery attempt. I hope you enjoyed seeing me struggle, because I know a lot of people are just like that. Or actually, I believe the right word would be saddest, because you're seeing me in pain, okay? Anywho, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed my pain, and maybe you try something out like this. If you do, let me know. But until then, until next time.